The more you grab, the more you lose. Master enough and unlock unbreakable inner freedom. Welcome back to the Boundless Sovereign YouTube channel. Hey, if you have been following along with us on this Tao Te Ching series, we made it all the way to chapter 44. That's what this episode is about. Like and subscribe to the channel. We would definitely appreciate it. It helps us to grow and get this message out to more people. So without further ado, let's jump into John Minford's translation of the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, chapter 44, Sufficiency. Which is dearer, name or true person? Which means more, person or property? Which causes greater harm, gain or loss? Undue love comes at great cost, and hoarding entails heavy loss. To know sufficiency averts disgrace. Whosoever knows when to halt averts misfortune, endures. And as with our tradition, the River Master's commentary on this particular chapter is as follows. Pursuit of name and fame relegates a true person to second place. To crave property harms the person. Pursuit of gain injures life. Undue love of sensual beauty and pleasure wastes the spirit. Wealth invites misfortune, inciting robbers to ransack the warehouse, to rifle the grave. Whosoever does not pursue gain and knows content is free of desire, incurs neither harm nor disgrace. To know when to halt, to be disentangled from gain, to be unperturbed by the senses is to avoid peril, is to befriend fortune. Self-cultivation keeps the spirit safe from harm. There's one line here that really this whole idea of to know when to halt, and it says that was in the River Master. Whosoever knows when to halt averts misfortune and endures. So I had a moment this past week, and I can't give you a lot of details because it does have to do with my professional career. But there was a moment where we were in this situation, and there was a group of us, and we were presenting something to the powers that be. And as we were presenting it, I realized that if we continued on our current plan to present all of these things to these folks, that we would perceived in a negative light. I could sense it. I was like, okay. We kind of had gone through the motions. We had gone through about half of what we were planning to present, and I realized, luckily, I was the leader, right? So I had the ability to change our strategy mid go, right? Mid in the middle of it all. And the other person that was helping present this, we spent some time at lunch, and he was like, "Hey, I think we may have enough. And maybe we don't want to follow through." And if we had kept going, it would have taken us probably a few more hours to finish presenting on this particular topic. And then we would have looked like kind of like not good in front of the people that we were presenting to, because the things that we were going to open ourselves up to if we had kept presenting all of the different facts or different ideas that we were trying to present would have made our argument really not great. Right, so I also was recognizing that we needed to stop. Like, we needed to kind of like put the brakes on, evaluate what we had already kind of presented, and say, okay, I think we've done enough. And so that kind of harkens back to this whole idea of knowing when to halt, to recognize in the moment, to watch the unfolding, and realizing that if you continue to put effort in this direction, it's no longer inspired action. You're just doing the effort to attain some other goal or some goal, right? And so then you realize, wait, no, I need to stop efforting now. So the inspired action at that time was to halt, right? And I believe that although we don't know the outcome of the presentation yet, I believe that the likelihood of getting an outcome that is favorable to our perspective is going to be the case because we knew when to halt. And if it's not the case, it's okay. And that's kind of where this other part that it's talking about. To know sufficiency averts disgrace. So recognizing that even if we failed in our endeavor, we looked better and were perceived better, and I think will help us in the long term, right? But also this idea of understanding that even if the outcome that we want doesn't come to fruition necessarily, that it's okay, that it's sufficient, right? That we did the best we could, and the outcome is whatever the outcome is. And what this also does is by detaching from the outcome, the need for the outcome to be a certain way, it becomes a lot less pressure-filled, a lot less stress, and less to no suffering, because you can live at peace knowing, hey, whichever way this turns out, it's going to be okay. And that reminds me of another instance. So I had a meeting on Friday where I had to go meet with some folks about a deal that we were trying to do. In the run up to that meeting, I was feeling a little bit anxious, and I realized that my anxiousness was coming from the fear that I wouldn't get the outcome that I was searching for, or that the likelihood of getting the outcome that I was trying to get was low, based on all the details that I was going into this meeting with. And so I recognized that, and then in the moment leading up to that, I decided to do a little meditation, just do a little breathing exercise, and recognize that either way the meeting went was going to be all right. I was going to come out at the other end just fine, right? The organization's goals will probably still be met regardless of how this particular meeting goes. And that I could go into the meeting with an open heart and an open mind and be light to the other parties, even if I don't get the thing that I'm after in the meeting. And it is through that recognition that I went through the meeting taking inspired action along the way in how I said and what I said to those folks. And I would say when we walked away, I know there was a feeling of, this probably isn't going to work out the way I would have hoped it would have worked out. But it's okay. So I was able to drive home in peace. I slept well that night. I'm going to go to work tomorrow, and it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. And it made me realize yet again that attaching myself to an outcome is what is the crux, what is the root of suffering, of fear, of worry, of anxiety. And that when I detach from a certain expectation around an outcome, that I can live in peace even in stressful, fearful moments. Or they become like less stressful or not stressful, or not, like I don't bring fear into them. And then when I go into those moments, I can show light when I'm not attached to an outcome. And this is very difficult, especially in modern society, as the world is very much, especially in corporate America, we're very much focused on achieving specific outcomes. And if you don't achieve a specific outcome, you are deemed to have failed. And so much fear, worry, and suffering comes from the fear of not succeeding. But to succeed is to let go of expectations of outcomes, which then lets the spirit, the Tao, the universe, God, to flow in unimaginable ways that maybe the specific outcome that you were hoping for doesn't turn out the way you want it to, but some other outcome happens that's tenfold better in every possible way, that it just you couldn't have even have planned it better yourself. And so getting to the point where you can detach so much so and let the universe and the spirit do what it does best, and then it just becomes a magical formula. And so I was talking to one of my colleagues after this meeting, and we were laughing about it because I said, well, we've had a few meetings on these different things this week, and I don't know if any of them are going to come to fruition right now, right away. But I do believe what we did was, because I went into each of these meetings at peace, with an open heart and open mind, and I showed light to each of the groups that we were dealing with this week, that these seeds that were planted will result in fruit at some point in the future. And letting the universe or the spirit or the Tao do the work to let that happen at some point is where I think you can, where there's a modern application for Taoism, is that, right? Is this idea of planting a seed, putting it in fertile ground, coming to the situations with a positive, open-minded, open-hearted viewpoint, detached from the potential outcome that you're out to get. That's the fertile ground that you're planting the seed in. And then you're also, with doing it this way, you've watered it, right? And this seed will grow into something at some point in the future. And it's all of these concepts of just flowing with the present reality, detached from outcome, that creates the positive outcomes in the future, and they will unfold naturally, and it will feel absolutely magical. This has been chapter 44. I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember what chapter we're on. Chapter 44 of the Tao Te Ching. If you enjoy this series, or if you've enjoyed this particular chapter, please like and subscribe to the channel so you can get more of this every day. We post daily, and it's just been an exciting journey so far. So this is the Boundless Sovereign YouTube channel, and we will see you in chapter 45 of the Tao Te Ching.